My 1 hour is your 50 hours. And the things that we can do within that time span is way faster. I did not work a 9 to 5. I did not want to look at the walls. I did not want to be told what to do. I don't want to show up on time to work. It just wasn't for me. Security is what I gave up on to pursue entrepreneur. I have to work harder. When they work 9 to 5, a lot of people say you're trading a 9 to 5 for a 24/7 job.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New Age Renaissance podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us. He's someone I had the pleasure of meeting not too long back, but we clicked immediately. He comes from Hong Kong and is a young stud of an entrepreneur. Someone who, at the young age of 30, has managed to make 9 figures in the e-commerce industry. This guy is very hungry, and he's come out to Dubai, to the Middle East, to expand his domain. It's exciting to have you on the podcast here today, Frank. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me over. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. So, we have a lot to talk about here today.
For sure.
And we had one of those interactions where we talked for 20 minutes and then we were like, wait, we got to stop. We got to put this on a podcast.
Yes.
So it's raw, authentic, getting to know each other a little bit.
100%.
And we were on the same wavelength there. So that's quite exciting.
Excited to be
And we've
here.
got a beautiful studio here today. So
Exactly. The best place to be in here.
yes, sir. So getting started, I want to talk a little bit about the origin of your journey, because this is really the seed of what makes you who you are.
Right.
So, take us back to the beginning, What were the early days of your entrepreneurial journey like in Hong Kong?
I think everything looking back started from my family. At a very young age, my parents gave me a lot of experience, from horse riding to golf to traveling the entire world. I think I've traveled to at least 20 cities and countries within, 5 years before I was 16. I was very lucky to be able to see the world. My parents always insisted on educational travels. It was so much of a jealousy for me when everyone's, shopping, gaming, and I had to go to Paris for, Louvre and museums instead of, having fun. It was always writing out diaries and travel books and reflecting on what I've learned today. It was always about education, and understanding the culture, which in hindsight, it's a really great blessing for me to have. This kind of set the foundation for me. I remember when I was young, my parents never gave me any toys. I did not have a lot of birthday gifts. I was really mad. And all I had was books. All I had was electronics that was broken, and my mom would tell me to fix it. I think that started off with brainstorming and problem solving at a very early stage in life. That sets the mentality for me without knowing. Everything really started throughout my engineering career. As an engineer, we were there and we get paid to solve issues. And I studied in Canada, in Toronto, as a chemical engineer. I worked at ExxonMobil. I worked at Pepsi as a manager, operational manager. I had a team under me during my internship. That was all before I graduated, and I was hired by them back to back, which never really happened in my school. So I was really lucky to have great experience before coming out. That gave me the idea of I did not wanted to work a 9 to 5. I did not want to look at the walls. I did not want to be told what to do. I don't want to show up on time to work. It just wasn't for me. And it felt very stressful for me. And it felt like I wanted to look for something bigger and better, a vision and a life that actually would inspire me to wake up. I did not want to work that 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then have that Saturday to spend, and then that Sunday made it felt like it was on Monday because I had work. It was very important for me and had that experience because I was one of the best paid internships at that time, because all the money was higher than Amazon and higher than Microsoft at that time. The importance of this is to allow me to see, if I were to work, this is the best. That means I got a Rolls Royce early on, and I knew this wasn't enough. That is what brought me to entrepreneurship. If I had worked a job that was slightly worse, then maybe I'll be climbing the corporate ladder. After working on oil and gas, I worked at Pepsi. And for the same person, my salary cut in half. I realized the difference in industries and the platform and the channel that I put myself into, it would change drastically. That means if I had a bottle of water and it was a convenience store versus selling on a plane versus selling in a Starbucks, the value is different. So then it was a journey of finding my own self, finding my value, where I should be, what I feel the most comfortable in, what I enjoy the most, what inspires me every single day or month or year. It started off with after work, trying to find something to do. And at that time, Shopify seems to be one of the easiest thing to do.
And what was your age around this time?
It was 23.
Okay.
It was 23.
Gotcha.
It was after 3 years of university. It was the first year of internship. That's where I started looking into doing things after work. It was a blessing because in oil and gas, everyone gets off work around 5:30. No one really overtimes. If I were to work till 10 at night, 9 at night, I don't think I would have the time to put into doing more things. So because it was after 5, I had 6 hours every single night living miserably. Because what would I be doing at night, Monday to Friday? Partying? You won't be partying Monday to Friday. So I started to look for things that would really inspire me. And in Calgary, there's not much things to do, which is an oil town in Canada. So I started to look at, what can I do? And I was also really happy that I was surrounded by a bunch of talented people that came from different schools and also inspired me to become an entrepreneur, writing programs. And I was just in that space of engineers and hackathon and building things. I think education taught me to build things. Education taught me to problem solve. One thing from engineering that I've learned is there's never a right answer. That was from day one of university.
Is it like mathematics where there's many ways to get to a right answer, or is there just no
There's
correct
many
way?
ways to build a bridge.
Sure.
There's many ways of building a car. The only requirement is get from place A to place B. I don't care how. So I think that gave me a box of, anything is possible.
Letting your creativity just run wild.
Exactly. Even in, a professor grading out exams, as long as it made sense, you would get 100%, right? As long as the bridge works, you get 100%. There's no right way of doing something. And I think that education, that mindset, that family set me up for a lot of mindset to begin with. At the same time, my mom also cut my credit card or income source since 18. My mom insisted me since 18 I'll be financially independent. And that is when I started to think about my finances, where I want to be, where I want to go, and really think about how I can, long-term invest in my life and make the right decisions going throughout. I think it's a combination of all that thing together, with education, with mindset, and also the crunch on my credit line. That is what inspired me I need to make money, because I know my parents is not going to give me money. So then either I work or I find a way out. And if I hated work, there's only way is to start a business. So I started with Shopify. I saw an ad that says free 14 days trial. I'm like, what is better than free 14 days, zero cost to start off? And I'd Google at a laptop, and that was it. That was literally it in my own apartment. And that's what started my entrepreneur journey into selling things online. And slowly that gave my mindset. And then I went back to working with my relatives and factories. And from there on, that was how everything really started. But I decided to eventually spend most of my time in e-commerce because to me, it made more sense to scale. Given my finances at that time, I wasn't a big risk guy. I did not want to lose a lot of money. I did come from a middle class family, so I didn't want to lose too much things. But at the same time, I could afford to lose things, which was my job and was my education. But I didn't want to do that too late down the road. So I decided to, before I graduate, I better work something out during my internship. So that's how I started my entrepreneur journey. And I brought everything back to Hong Kong, simply because that's the hub of supply chain.
Sure. Well, great answer. Thank you for taking me through essentially your life story leading up to the e-commerce part of your journey.
Yeah.
There's just such a myriad of factors you listed that I'm just so curious about over here.
Right.
So let's go back to the start of your answer
Right.
here, right? You talk about how there was horseback riding and golf, right? Were these extracurricular activities that your parents were just putting you into to try out, or was there a competitive edge being bred into you at that time? Like,
No, I think my parents made sure my schedule is packed. To give some background, I was diagnosed with ADHD, dyslexia, and marginal high IQ. At that time, I could never sit down properly.
could you explain that last one? I think that's a less common one.
I don't even know what it is till today.
Sure,
That's
okay.
just what my parents say.
Got it.
According to the old age mathematical system, my IQ is higher than 100.
Okay.
So back in the days. So it's just maybe just intelligence, like street smart. That was what was diagnosed. So I was a problem child through kindergarten, through primary school, through high school, through university. I've always had issues as a problem child. I'd be naughty. I would never sit down properly. I would cause trouble. Kids hate me. I can never sit down properly. My attention span is so short. I remember I sit down, study 10 minutes, I'm walking. I just can't. I just can't.
But how were your grades through the journey?
In the local system, it was terrible.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't fit in. So my mom sent me into national school, and I made it through my, I guess, intelligence.
Well, you know what they say, like you have a snake try to climb a tree, it'll fail, but a monkey will do it easily. And they all have their different strengths. So
Right.
it sounds like you found your strength and where you fit in and can dominate in business later on.
I think that is a continuation of a journey. My strength will strengthen, and it would also change.
Okay.
And I will adapt.
Evolution.
I think one of the importance of me being an entrepreneur and skill set that would keep me in the business is how flexible am I, and how quickly can I adapt to new things, to new trends. If AI is coming, I better be also involved in that, right? I can't be just stuck in, this is what I used to make money on, this is my success, therefore I am and forever I will be.
Right.
I think flexibility and always be aware of the environment internally, mentally, and externally, micro and macro factor is what makes me who I am today.
Beautiful. So,
Yeah.
you know, during your sports days and like playing golf and stuff, was it ever competitive? Did you play against other kids in competitions?
So, additional to golf and horse riding,
Yeah.
I was very competitive in triathlon. So, that is swimming, biking, and running.
So,
At the highest level, I was ranked number 16 in Hong Kong.
wow. Well done.
And then for table tennis, I was practicing with the national team of China when I was 13. And that again gave me a lot of sportsmanship mindset.
Sure.
If I lost a game, there will be no dinner served. If I lost a game,
By your parents, who's not feeding you dinner?
the coach.
The coach.
The coach.
Wow, hardcore.
The coach. Yeah. I remember, if I was not serious, I would get whipped, and I did. I got whacked by a paddle, and the paddle broke, and I was crying underneath the table. My mom was like, "Good, having a good coach. You have a good coach." So that was my sports. But going back to everything that my parents put me in, it would be tennis that I missed out, basketball, Dreamweaver, building a website, painting class, everything. I think
I mean that's a very different than current teaching method of pain is the best teacher. If your kids were in school today, would you want that same kind of experience for them after you experienced it?
yes. I think it's all about experience. It's all about experience. One thing I do preach is if you don't try, you never know. I think early stage, my mom let me try. If I did not try sports earlier on, knowing that I was never number one, maybe I would have not, I might have wanted to try more things now, right? So the earlier I try something, the earlier I know I don't want to go pro tennis. I don't want to go pro golf. I don't want to go pro volleyball, table tennis, or I cannot go pro because someone else's is way better than I am. But the competitiveness brought the aggressiveness inside my heart where I love to win. And learn from the losses is when I lose, that one game out of 3 games, how do I balance my mentality and play the next game properly? And I think that comes back down to sportsmanship. And having that mindset is very important. Entrepreneurs, long-term sports, I would say the same thing. It's just not physical. It's all mental.
The mental endurance.
It's a mental sport game. I would say entrepreneurship is a mental sports game if I had to put it into perspective. And having that experience would allow me to understand more about this world, understanding my values, understanding my strength, and what I'm good at. If I don't know enough, then I would be distracted long term, or I would spend more time trying things out, which is fine. Everyone has their own journey. Maybe 40 years later, I figured out, oh, this is what I'm interested. Who knows? And the fact that I tried it early on, I knew I didn't like coding. I knew I did not like arts. I knew I wasn't going to be the top one in Hong Kong for sports. So I'm not going to do that, right? I can only do that because my family had resources for me to do all that. Camping, flying, so it was a lot of experiences. Skiing, helicopters, flying planes, like done that, been there. And so that kind of gave me the confidence in handling a lot of things because I'm so confident in all that thing. Now I realize if you tell me I swim, I can swim. Run, I can run. Bike, I can bike. Basketball, I can shoot. All competitive to a certain extent. And that gave me the confidence in everything I do, and building the confidence is so important, especially in an entrepreneur. It's always a mental game. Believing in myself is probably one of the most important factors that I've had throughout since entrepreneur. Someone told me this. Entrepreneurship is like going through a maze. In some sort of way, yes. I would like to think, can we start from the exit? Why are we blinded in a maze? And a lot of the time we do need to believe in ourselves when it's not bright in front. We need to believe in ourselves when we face this challenge. And I think that sets the foundation. The mindset is everything.
That journey makes you the person you have to be to succeed later on.
100%.
Absolutely.
And this helps me to prevent from any sort of depression, awareness, and anxiety because I have awareness consistently. That's like sports. I need to be aware why I lost this, why I won this, did my ego kill me. It was all training without me knowing. But do we have to be rich to do that? No. You can just pick up a paddle and you can play. It's not expensive.
It's an incredible journey, honestly, because you talk about how you were a generalist, and there's 2 types of people between specialists and generalists. Tiger Woods is a great example of a specialist. He's someone who, from the age of 3, was playing golf and became the best in the world.
Right.
Whereas your journey sounds a lot more like Roger Federer, the top tennis player in the world.
Right.
His parents knew which sports would grow certain muscle groups the most efficiently.
Right.
Up until about the age of 12, which
Right.
is when he first picked up the tennis racket.
Right.
And then he went and just went all the way through it and used all the lessons he learned to succeed. And hearing your story about how your creativity is unleashed in different ways with coding and engineering, and how your competitive nature was brought out from, the sports and everything your parents put you through. It sounds like all these factors together have made you who you are today.
Right.
Now, a couple more questions on the journey you asked about. One thing is, you mentioned how you always envied other kids, right?
Yep.
How they could go play video games and hang out.
Yep.
And it sounds like later on in your journey, when you actually had the time to play video games, because you were instilled not to play video games and to be disciplined, you took those 5 hours each day to find something to do that built yourself.
Yes.
So my question for you around that is, was there ever a period in your time where you succumbed to playing video games or these things that you knew would not get you ahead in life in the direction you wanted to go?
Yeah. I want to go back to what you just said about Roger Federer, and I want to resonate with that is we are all specialists. We're not a generalist. We're specialists in having the mindset. We're specialists in having the strongest mentality of winning. But the way we did it was either we generalized or specialized. Sure. Tiger Woods and Roger Federer have the same sportsmanship.
Same mentality.
Is the mindset that we're specialized in.
Well said.
We're specialized in winning.
That's
we're
good.
Specialized in winning.
That Kobe mentality.
Yeah, the Kobe mentality, the mom. Yeah. So I think in that sense, now that I look at everything, that is the mindset, and that is what we specialized in. Going back to going video games. I couldn't say video games is bad. There are a lot of kids who make money playing League of Legends. It's just what my family thought it was a waste of time. And yes, one of the things that my parents and I have gotten used to is always putting myself in a circle, in an environment where I'm usually the bottom of the pile
That's good.
every single given time. Every single given time, I'm meeting people who has higher net worth, and also a different or higher horizon. It doesn't have to be the same vertical. It could be horizontal vertical. And I would always want things from them. For example, I have a Ferrari, then my friend would have an SF90, and now I'm like, oh, okay. Now I need that, and then maybe they have a yacht, and then eventually. So yes, there are times when I wanted to go back to video games, and I did. I think I brought a Xbox during university. I played GTA, but one day my mom came to the university dorm room and just stole it. So she
good
brought
mom.
it. Yeah. I also brought an NDS once to play Pokemon, and I think my mom made me sell it. So I have done that.
Sure.
And I think my mom just forced me to. I think she didn't see the value of it. And I got used to not loving that and relying on that. So I don't game. I don't have a single game on my phone. When I'm bored, learning is the game. Learning is the game, building is the game. Like, to me, I see life and entrepreneurial as the real game.
You've made your real life a video game.
Yes, that to put it that way. I'm always currently unlocking things, and just without a map. Yeah, just without a map, and I don't know where the boss is at, and I don't know if the game will ever end and how it would play out. So that's the game that I'm living by, and I'm enjoying it. So going back to your question, a little bit, but I have never really put too much time. It was just not my interest. Throughout my education, I was taught there's many things more that is more interesting to that.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you for that breakdown. And
Yeah.
it's really nice to hear, because a lot of times people will have these secret habits or things that people don't know about. And gaming is one of those things. You wouldn't know if someone's just going home and playing 8 hours of games a day.
Yeah.
And so hearing that perspective and that honesty is excellent. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now, you also talked about how your mom was cutting up your credit cards,
Right.
and you had to rely on yourself for money. So when you mentioned the Rolls Royce with the first job, was that something you bought for yourself, or was that...
Oh, Rolls Royce, as in like it was the most prestige job that I
Understood.
could have
Okay.
gotten. The first expensive thing that I bought for myself was I think it was a Panerai watch. When I was 19. That was when I made my first 10,000 on Kickstarter within 1 week. I did not mention that because it's not something to me remarkable. And the first watch that I bought from my e-commerce that I made my first money was an AP. That's the beginning of the journey, and then it started a collecting journey from there, and collecting things.
And those are your real life achievements in playing real life as a video game.
Yeah, I guess. Eventually started into collecting real estate and whatsoever, but that's how I started at the beginning.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what do you think was your defining moment when you realized that you were onto something big in e-commerce?
I realized when the orders came in. I don't know what did. I really don't know. It's just like those moments. It's like, oh, I made it. The orders just, the Shopify sound. I'm sure you can go on YouTube and search. It's ding 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 ding, and my phone just blew up. I'm like, what the fuck? It just felt like printing money.
Yeah.
It was 10,000 days. The first day of Bix, it was like 100 and then 1,000, and all of a sudden it was like 10,000 days, and then it went on from there. When I realized was I was focused on buying things instead of working the business. That's when I knew that I was just sitting there. I was looking at what to buy on a daily basis.
That's a fun moment.
That's when I realized it worked out for me. And then the business came down, and I decided to put more time back on the business because I was focused on wrong things. That was when I knew I was onto something in e-commerce.
Beautiful. That's very exciting. Those moments are very defining. So great. Now, the next question I have for you is, what were some of the biggest personal or professional sacrifices you had to make early on to make this dream a reality?
That's a great question. I think most of the time we forget that every single step we make is a sacrifice of the past. If we don't sacrifice anything, we can never move forward. I always use the analogy of if your glass is full, you cannot replace water with wine. You got to pour it out entirely for the wine to come in. We cannot have half full of a glass or whatever half empty analogy you want and then have wine. We'll end up getting none of that. I gave up the sense of security. That was probably the biggest one. It was scary. And I'm still giving that up. You know, when you see traders sitting in JP Morgan and getting paid securely, 6, 7, 8 figures bonuses, times when they're miserable and you still have to go through it. Giving up security, giving up comfort was one of the biggest thing for me. Not only did my parents took out the money and stopped giving me financial security, that was the first time of now I'm on my own. Now I need to create my own security. Now I need to create a sense of confidence. I cannot rely on that 9 to 5. I cannot rely on the drug of if I show up, I'll get paid. It's more like, fuck, tomorrow, if I don't work, I'm not going to get paid. That's going to be scary because my sales could go up and down, just like a stock market every single day. So security is what I gave up on to pursue entrepreneur. I think another thing is to give up on a lot of fun things in life. When people are partying, I have to work. I have to work harder. When they work 9 to 5, a lot of people say you're trading a 9 to 5 for a 24/7 job. Yes.
Well, you're probably going to end up partying harder than them too. So
it's no longer a job, it's life.
Right.
Work is life. I could be working at a club, like doing my work during clubbing. I don't know. But it's part of life. It's less of 9 to 5 and then life. It's 24/7 life. Business and me is one thing. There's so many sacrifices. It could be relationship. It's time. It's distraction of girls. Everything. It's like I want to do that.
That smile says a lot.
Yeah, like those are the times when you want to head out to clubs and do whatever you want to do and pop bottles. And no, you got to be conscious about the money you're spending. So everything. Like there's too many things that I had to sacrifice. Yes, it could be my profession. It could be my status in a company. It could, and I did. I sacrificed my full time because if I worked for my entrepreneurship, I did decline the offer of going back full time. I declined the security and the stability of working a 9 to 5. Having a relationship that does not involve business because I'm always processing business. I don't have time to go like, hey, sweetie, let's go out for a date every single night. I can't. Friendship, relationship, friends. The sense of community, the sense of friendship. There are times when it was lonely, but I enjoyed it, so it was fine. It was like, damn, if I worked, I couldn't go out with my friends, then my friends would value me less. That was a cycle that I had to go through, and slowly it was more about, okay, which one do I enjoy more? Does relationship last long? What does this relationship mean to me? I kept evaluating. There were times when I was sad. Yes, for sure. I had to sacrifice material things when your sales calls like, hey, are you interested in this watch? Are you interested in this car? And you can't fork up the capital for it. You gotta let it go. It sounds stupid, but yes, those are the sacrifices. But in hindsight, they were not that big of a sacrifice. As long as the thing that I'm not sacrificing is doing what I love, everything else it would yeah. So that's the only thing I
Incredible.
would not compromise on. Everything else,
Love that incredible example. You talk about letting go of relationships, letting go of ego and comfort to empty out your cup so that
yep,
you can keep learning and keep growing. So I salute that you day after day choose to keep making those sacrifices to keep your cup empty so you can
yeah,
learn and keep growing.
yeah,
So that's very exciting to hear.
yeah.
Now let's talk about actually your journey in e-commerce a little bit. What were your first few products? What was your product that really took off, and how do you define your business today?
It started off with clothing, women's clothing. I saw a gap in bringing clothes online. When I was in a workplace, I realized girls tend to have limited places to go for shop to shop for clothes. At that time, Shein wasn't a thing. ASO, I don't think was a thing either. I wasn't sure, but I saw a lack of availability in terms of this service out there. So I started in that. I started in women's clothing, and I don't know why I picked. Maybe because I think guys are very simple. A shirt and a pair of pants will last a whole week, whereas girls, it would be very obvious if you're wearing the same thing every single day, and people want to be personalized. So I started in that. I also had a relationship in a clothing factory. That's how I started in women's clothing because I had a competitive edge in that sense. I then transited out of clothing into accessories and jewelry because one, I did not enjoy designing women's clothes. I realized I don't understand the sizing because I cannot try it. The markup is not as great as I thought. Just because of the perceived value. Throughout the experience of women's clothing, I understood what would sell online more than it was, the go on Amazon and go on these applications to go figure out. But it was more of hands-on business than I would know. Through clothing, I got in touch with accessories, and I realized accessories the best because it's the lightest, highest perceived value, and the cost made sense. So I got into jewelry. I got into gold, silver, diamond, and Swarovski stones and pearls. Just because of how big the market was, just because how light it was, therefore affected shipment cost. How it's not seasonal, so I could always refresh and I could always sell. Just like the necklace you're wearing, a simple
There you
gold
go.
chain
Yep.
will last a long time. But for clothing, you gotta change every single season. So that's how I started. And from there on, I branched out into different many stores and many brands. And after I understood how I could work in the entire ecosystem of working with affiliates, working with ads, running sales, running products, testing products, pumping out, running photo shoots, content. This was a whole flywheel, whole system that I've polished, and it was just a matter of finding the right product, plugging in the system, and then it just works. So that's how I started.
That's excellent. And I'm sure at a certain point it went from being a one-man show to a team effort, and you had to become a leader, to a great degree. So at what point did you need to start building that team around you?
That's a great question. It's part of everyone's journey in scaling a business. You can't really. I would call entrepreneurship when you have people working for you. Other than that, you're self-employed or you're an artist. You're just indulged in your own ideas. A true business should pay off in passive income. And to do that, it means I can sit here now talk to you because of the time, because my team is working around the clock to do that. And the more people I have, or the high efficiency I have, that means I can multiply my hours the most. I wake up, that's 50 hours for someone, right? If you're a one-person show, then that'll be 50 hours of your time. My 1 hour is your 50 hours. And the things that we can do within that time span is way faster. It came when I could not handle the amount of orders that's coming in. I remember we had 500 orders a day. It's impossible for me to ship that out and also deal with the marketing. Impossible. So that is when I knew it was sales chased, then I had to fit in the operations. because I had to go do the marketing. I had to go do the operations. I could go do the supply chain. I need to do the finance. I need to do the packing. So I couldn't do all that. So the first thing that I hired was someone to pack it, because that was the most tedious work, the most simplest work. And I got someone to do that, and it was on from there and hiring bit by bit, in terms of operational staff, marketing staff, content creation staff, or team members or partners, and that's how I scaled from there. And as the sales goes, the team would grow, and then the team starts to shrink when you increase efficiency. So that's how the whole system, whole flywheel kind of builds.
That's how the cycle goes. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. And
Yeah.
how did you find the right people for your business?
That's a good question, and I think that is one of the very important key of success. Two things that I really got from this. I love the CEO, Brian from Airbnb, and also Steve from Apple. You know, as a CEO, we only do a few things. We strategize, we hire, and we execute. That, to me, that's the core fundamental. And I believe in one thing is I will have to always interview, regardless of the position. The first thing to finding the right person is to actually do all the nitty-gritty work. A lot of people want to skip that. A lot of people who come to me wanted just to, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can you build a website for me? At the end of the day, when you want to hire someone to build a website for your own company, you don't know how to do that. You just don't have the experience, and you don't know how to manage them. Then they will start having more authority over you, which is fine, but you don't know the quality in making that role a successful role. You do not know the career path and the qualities that is needed. So I truly believe that in a business, we need to, as a CEO executive or entrepreneur, we have to start from the bottom. We have to start from the bottom to understand the entire system to even start hiring. If I did not pack, I would not know how to teach them how to pack. I would not know what's the cost. I would not know the efficiency. If I can pack it in 5 minutes, hiring process would be, can you pack it in 5 minutes? But if I did not do that, how would I know what's the KPI? How would I know what I'm looking for? How would I know what is the most important skill set in that role? I would never. And so hiring would start from, and I usually start from asking what motivates them. Having the same value is very important. If motivating you would be money, sure. If motivating you would be vision, I'll offer partnership. If motivating you is to get off work early, I'll find the right role for you. So that is how one is started. Two is I usually hire someone who knows better than I do. Otherwise, I would always have to learn and teach them. Then it becomes less efficient. If I can hire someone that is greater than I am, better than I am, more knowledgeable in that space, I would grow way faster. And that is actually key. Hiring the right person could make or break your company. Hiring a good partner or having a good partner could make or break your company. And having a good payout structure and having a clear roadmap is very important. So having the right directions, having the same value, understand the core skill set for that position and role, and delivering value to them and making them feel fulfilled in that role is so important for longevity of the business. I don't want high turnovers. I want them to be long-term. To do that, they need to enjoy the job. They need to enjoy the role. And that is basically my hiring technique, is to know what I'm hiring for. Why am I hiring for? Understanding the core skill set, which is usually mentality, and then it's on from there. Having the right mentality. Are you active? Are you proactive? Are you following up with me? If I did not text you, are you going to text me back? Right? Throwing questions out there. What is the project that you would like to work on? What is one of the achievement that you think you have done? And if someone has not done anything, you would know. Or how do you solve a problem? You can understand their logic based on, where they have been. So problem-based questions, challenge-based questions, or scenario-based questions trumps resume.
Tremendous answer. I'm blown away because you've not only talked about how to find the right people, you've also explained how to cultivate loyalty within them and what you've done to create that. Now, in such a fast-paced environment such as e-commerce, does most of your team work remotely? Are they in the office? And what do you do to promote culture in this fast-moving space?
That's a great question too. You're asking all these spot on questions. I really appreciate that.
You got it, man.
A few things which I personally think it's pretty simple. One, having the same vision. Everyone needs to believe in the company and it believes in the product. If you don't like the product, get out of here. Right? You gotta believe that this is a good product. You know, if I'm Elon and I'm hiring you for SpaceX and you don't even believe in going to Mars, you think it's a joke, we're not gonna get anywhere. So that's number one. Having the same vision, believing in the product, understanding what I'm doing, understanding what accessory is, understanding what clothing is. If you have no idea, it will not work. So my role is also to put that vision in. That's very important. The second thing, which I'm not sure if everyone talks about, is injection of love.
Beautiful.
We all need love in every single system. As bad as this is, every single company has its own culture. And on this podcast, I don't think anyone's spoken about it, but to me, it's the same as a religion. You need to believe in a company religiously. We do. 9 to 5 every single day. That's a religion. To do the same thing, we're doing it religiously. And there's no problem if we believe in the vision. There's no problem if we're delivering value. There's no problem if this is something that makes a positive impact that people look upon on, right? We're not doing bad to this world. So having the same vision, injection of love, everyone needs love. Appreciating one's work is a gesture of love. Taking them out to dinner, taking them out to drinks is love. Providing work that they enjoy is love and caring. Because if I don't care about you, I would not talk to you. I will not remember your name. I will not feedback. I will not care about you. That's exactly how most company falls apart. And as a small company and small to mid-sized company, that is the most important culture that I would say that anyone would need, is to have a vision, is to have the right compensation to compensate for whatever they're doing. And it doesn't have to be just finance, right? Everyone looks for different things, but right compensation and appreciation or love is the key. I think the ingredients to having a strong team.
Frank, what a beautiful answer. You talk about, number one, alignment and unity of vision. You talk about, injecting love and that business is like a religion because of how much you have to do the same thing over and over. I think it would be incredible to speak to your employees and partners, because a culture like that is so rare, where someone harvests and pours into their team so much. So it's very incredible to hear. Now, it sounds like you're very systems driven, very organized. Maybe that's not your nature, but something that you've had to cultivate because
100%.
of the nature of the beast. What would you say that are the systems or habits that you've used personally that might be outside the ordinary in order to stay organized?
Wow. I would say it's from mistakes.
Sure.
As an ADHD person, as a dyslexic person, the result is being jumpy. The result is not liking things planned, because I like to avoid planning things. I like to procrastinate a lot. I like to not stick to a schedule and let's just go by the feeling of it. Let's meet around 6. Let's try to do that. And slowly that doesn't work, because sales and the team needs to work on deadlines. And if I don't work on the deadline, the team will not. I need to become the one to show them how it's done. If I don't practice it, I don't preach it, no one's going to follow it. If I don't believe in a system, no one's going to follow a system. And having a system is the only way to me to freedom. And part of the system is also discipline. Without discipline, we'll not have a system. That means on Monday, I'm going to have this meeting. On Tuesday, it's going to be marketing. On Wednesday, it's going to be products. It is to figure out my own system. I've tried many tools, you name it, Monday, Notion, Trello. All this is crap. The system that we need is here. When we wake up, what do? Do we practice? Do we build in habit? The Atomic Habit is a great book to read for everyone. understanding that if we build the same thing every single day, but consistently is all that matters. It's not about, oh, today I'm going to plan out my week. A lot of people get stuck on, I enjoy planning of the sake of for planning, but never actually execute and stick to deadlines. So it was a learning of having punished by not sticking to deadlines and having a shit show and having a mess. So therefore, I need to get ahead. Just like getting on a ride, or just getting to, from Dubai to Hong Kong, I need to first envision, then I need to plan, then I need to buy a ticket. If I don't have that to begin with, I'll never get here. And so that's the beginning of everything. And to force me to do it, it's to practice every single day, practice awareness, practice meditation, and go like, this is what I'm going to do. And I think the best way that I do it is pen and paper. I write down what I do. At the end of the day, I journal what I did. Have I repeated the same thing for the last week? Have I improved every single week? I look back at my day 1, day 2, day 3. Forget about all these fancy things. I do it on pen and paper. And that is how I do it. Or even as simple as just a note app. Nothing fancy, something that I'm just really comfortable in using, and just consistently hammer it. And in the game of competitiveness and entrepreneurship, you will be rewarded and you'll be punished by how well you do that. So going back to that, yes, having a system, having a firewall, having discipline in awareness, protecting my mentality and sales, and making sure my team is doing well is part of the entire system.
Excellent. And I've got to kind of wrap us up with a question about the modern times of growth. With new AI technologies coming out today, how have you started to inculcate them within your business? How has it helped? How has it detracted? Do you see that you need less employees? Do you still use the same employees but empower them with these tools? What does that look like for you in the e-commerce space?
Sure. That's a spot-on question. And running a business, it's about flexibility, like I said at the beginning, right? Instead of just looking at something and sitting there and go like, this is not for me, I will have to first learn. I can't rely on someone else, because the insight that I get from my learnings and experience would be very different to someone else's dimension. So learning about it, not facing the problem. AI is coming, having a positive mindset will allow me to go, AI is good for me. It's not AI is going to take over my business. The mentality of looking at new things is very important. That is what the business taught me to begin with. Then is to cultivate the whole team to have that mindset. So we'll have meetings. We'll implement learning time. We'll implement meetings where we share our knowledge on the latest and greatest. What do we think about this marketing strategy? What do you think Kim Kardashian is doing? What do you think this company is doing? What do you think this AI tool is good for? Can we try some AI tool? Are we watching YouTube? Do we have 3 hours every single week on AI and learning that? And sponsoring education systems for our entire team to be in touch. That's number one. That is on the team level. On my level, it's about hiring, firing, pivoting, and implementing. So how do I implement that in my system? Should I buy some software? Should I build that myself to make sure my team is on it? Should I pivot? Should I start a new business? And one of the things I've been doing in addition to that is to invest in AI. So having software companies in addition to e-commerce will benefit me long-term as a portfolio. And if this works out, that's going to scale. And if it doesn't work out, I can plug it right back into the company. The software companies that I usually invest in or incubate or cultivate is always in relations to what I'm doing that will benefit the entire ecosystem. And not just rely on my own team to do it because they have been trained on some sort of mindset. So sometimes bringing something entirely new will help to refresh the entire system. And that's what I do to stay in touch with the market.
Well done. Well, Frank, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast here.
Thank you.
It's been a variety of subjects and topics we've hit on that will help entrepreneurs in their journey or refresh them on whatever they needed to learn. So
Right.
is there anything you'd like to share with the world on ways that people can connect with you, or what you're currently working on, or how people can see what you're doing?
So yeah, sure. I have a YouTube channel.
Awesome.
It's not huge right now. I'm slowly building it. If anyone wants to watch, feel free.
We'll throw it in the description.
Yeah, I put it in the description. I have an Instagram. You can follow me. There are a few things I'm working on. One, I have my own angel fund. I invest in different businesses in the same line of e-com, where it's mainly software focus, Web3 focus, and AI focus. So software as a service. So this is what I'm branching out into. I'm also helping agencies and also helping companies, usually over 7, 8, 9 figures, to scale. Especially the C-suite level, to help them strategize what's going forward and bringing a fresh mindset into it. So you can find me on social. I'm always here. Shoot me a DM. I'll fly out, and I'm happy to connect.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Frank's here to help you out. Feel free to reach out as needed. And just remember, through the journey of life, make sure you form your own opinions, you level up daily, and you enjoy the process. It's been a pleasure having you guys. Take care, and see you next time.
Thanks for having me on the podcast, I guess.
Awesome.
Was that an hour?
Yeah.
Wow, spot on.
5 minutes.
It was 55?
Yeah. I show this side, it means...
Oh, that was 15. I thought that was 5. Okay.
No, it means 50 minutes done.
Oh,
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
You're spot on, no?
Yeah.
What time is it now?
It's 55 minutes.
Yeah, 55.
Yeah, cool.
Do you have any questions you want to ask? We can shoot it as a reel.
Oh, yeah. We could do a little bit
Yeah,
extra content. Okay.
What do you think you want to put on, or
You want to do like a hype, like back and forth, like fiery, like...
Sure.
Okay.
Just keep recording. Can we keep recording?
It's
Okay.
recording. Okay.
Okay, cool. However you like to play it.
All right. 6:55. There we go. All right. I don't know.
You don't
Honestly,
know.
I have no clue.
What did you like about that conversation?
Okay, if we want to do another question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tons. Okay,
Do
bonus
another question
then.
and not like a podcast version, just like as a friend. Like,
Okay.
you're turning it on. Huh?
I have bonus questions.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Yo, so Frank,
Yeah.
now that we talked business,
Right.
let's get to the fun stuff, yeah?
Sure.
What do you do outside of business to fill yourself up creatively, spiritually, just for fun?
I think I travel a lot. I love traveling. I want to see
Yeah.
the world. I feel like if I have capital and if I have money and I'm not traveling, it's kind of wasting my entire experience. I like to purchase a lot of experience. Having a Ferrari to me is experience. Having a
Sure.
Rolls Royce is an experience. It's not materialist. And I love to do sports. I would play golf. I would play tennis. Ride a horse, ride a camel, fly a plane, all that stuff.
You can fly planes.
I can fly planes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What can you not do? That's incredible.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out what I don't know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else? Do you have any bonus? We finished asking all these questions?
I mean, all the good ones. Like, you actually answered so many questions as we
Did
went.
I?
And then, yes, we did have like some VC questions that I skipped
Okay.
over.
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. I'm thinking. We have 2 minutes. You want to do like a creative question?
Sure.
I don't know. Okay.
Sure.
All right.
What do you want to know about me? Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Pop that back out and you're like, just like a chill. Did you not have? Do you want? I answered you completely.
Yeah, dude.
You did not have any real follow up question. Like, there's nothing in your back of mind that you want to ask, or did you ask that already?
I mean, I'm not gonna put personal like questions
Right.
on the pod so
Right.
much.
Me and go personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, since this is overtime, anyways.
All right. So Frank, you smiled earlier,
Right.
When you were mentioning girls.
Right.
Where in your journey did the dating life and that fall in for you?
It didn't kick in yet. That's
Oh.
why I'm smiling. I'm still missing out on that. So I feel like I haven't had enough experience looking at what people can do, and I feel like I've dated for a long relationship, 8 years, and I realized that I've missed out a lot. So I feel like I want to fill in that gap eventually one day or another. But right now I'm still focused on building my business.
Okay. And what do you look for most in a partner?
That's a really good question. The fuckboy answer would be depends on for what position. Right?
Right.
It's a hiring process. To
There
me,
you
it's a
go.
hiring process. I guess I'm so brainwashed to think it's a hiring process.
A position like that. Okay, I'm with you.
If it's depending on the value add, right?
I gotcha.
Like what am I looking for here? Is it a long-term relationship? Am I looking for someone to take care of me? Am I looking for someone to look like a trophy wife? Am I looking for someone to just have fun, or to travel with? Like again, going back to experiences is just like business and sports. You got to go through women, to know.
Yep. Takes
Right?
experience, takes messing up.
Yeah, and if you can focus on harvesting in and doing better yourself, eventually you will have that. Instead of chasing women like they're businesses, because so many men stuck in the face of that girl is. It could be a business. I wanted to get her. I want to get her. I want to get her. And your comfort zone and your confidence built on girls. And if one day that kind of falls apart, you fall apart. Versus you're so confident in the things you do, that is a value add. That's very different.
So then I got to ask you, would you rather be with someone who is in your business with you, building with you day to day, or would you rather have someone who's doing their own thing and you just have your synergies?
As bad as it sounds, it's a marriage of the two.
Okay.
There are stages when you're broke where you wanted someone there that would have been through things, but not hands-on, but to support you fully or to do some sort of things. But as a business partner and wife, that relationship will wear out quickly. There will be arguments because you're going through stress a lot. Yes. It would become a different partnership. If you ask me today, I'd rather my partner not be my wife. I'd rather her to have different qualities than my business partner would. And that would depend on what type of business you're in, what stage you're in, where you're at to be able to do that. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Well said.
If they're in the same boat, you need to make sure you're rowing on the same pace, and sometimes you just cannot. Even at Apple, they had to replace CEOs, and replacing your wife with a business partner will
That's a sticky situation.
That's a sticky situation. So I would not suggest. Well, I don't preach that, but if it happens to be that, then go ahead, do your thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well said. It's good to know that about you.
Exactly. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
a good podcast.
All right. Yes,
Thank you.
sir. We won't hold up the construction too much over.
Yeah.